Well, enough of sitting on the tailgate and drinking coffee. Walking now, and my initial idea for this trip is I made a route. I didn't really make a route. I just, picked out some cool shit on a map to it's like a 12 lakes kind of route, not really a loop or anything, but an opportunity to visit 12 lakes in 44 miles. Good spot for a break. Time to keep going though. Came through here in 2023 and it was absolutely wrecked. It was hard to even find where the trail was. I got completely lost my first time here, had to bail and go home until finding it the second time that I tried, and it looks so good now. First view of Meteor Lake. So the way this route works is all of the lakes that you're going to will be side trails off of this main ridge, which is Sandy Ridge. Just got off the main trail, now I'm heading down to Monument. That swim got me feeling really good. About 3 o'clock now, and I just decided that there's a lot more to see out here, so I might as well go see it. Brother, you don't need to turn me away. I'm at the junction for Meteor Lake, but two things. Curiosity is drawing me forward because Meteor Lake is the last place that I visited here. And I think it might be a good idea to save one of Meteor and Monument Lake for the end. I remember how they took you down as the winter turned the mad. First glimpse at 1 Mile Lake. This junction is basically the central hub of the trip. Out that way you've got 1 Mile Lake and Secret Lake. I'm just past the junction with Bridge Creek Trail, which takes you to Deadman and Pleasant Lake out that way. Haypress Trail back behind me, that was Monument and Meteor Lake. And then the trail continuing out this way, you can see it going across side hilling right there. That takes you out to Cuddihy Lakes right down there, which is 3 lakes. And then up and over that ridge is the 3 granite lakes, green, gold, and blue. I've decided to head toward 1 Mile and Secret. Another nice little lake break, onward to Secret Lake up and over that ridge. Saw this well-defined pathway around 1 Mile Lake that I did not see the only other time I was here in 2012. Checking it out. This is very, very nice. Okay, so if there's no good camping at Secret Lake, I'm gonna wanna make my way back here. Wow. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to bust a move to Secret Lake and back real quick so I can come back to this campsite, unless there's something really nice at Secret Lake. Trying to find my way to Secret Lake with little luck. The trail has been very faint the few times that I have seen it, it's pretty much cross country. That didn't work at all, which is fine because there's this awesome campsite back here, and it's winding down in the day anyway. All right, heading out of camp for Blue Granite Lake. I don't think there will be any water between here and that lake like usual on this route. Almost back up to the hub. This has got to be one of my favorite views in all the western Marble Mountain wilderness. In 2013, I woke up at a campsite like right down there somewhere at about 3 a.m. to come up here and photograph the moon setting in the sky over that way. I'll try to link that here. Get it to the junction. Cuddihy Lakes is a short ways that way. This is the way up to the saddle that gets you over to Granite Lakes. At the next junction, just came from that way. It is a signed junction. Granite Lake's off that way. Yukon Lake that way. I just lost the trail a little bit. Does that go? I think it just goes this way. So I am on the trail right now, and you can just barely see it here and there. If I can find an end to this high intensity burn zone reasonably soon, I'll keep going, but I'm getting more and more skeptical with every step. Whoa. What up? Damn, I botched that shot. That one was okay. That makes up for it. Trail somewhere in here, and I can't even make any sense. I'm totally willing to go off trail, but I can't make any sense of the best pathway through this stuff. I'm gonna try this, but I've been trying this type of thing, and it's tended to just be wildlife trails. Yeah, nothing. Well, I lied, I kept going, and I made it to some just literally impassable stuff. So I'm gonna turn around, and fuck me, I really don't wanna go back and abandon all three of these lakes for this route, but that's kind of maybe what the Marble Mountain Wilderness does to you sometimes. If you don't have very recent trail reports, you could end up out here in something like this. Okay, officially turning around at this point and bailing on the Granite Lakes. I was hoping that effort was gonna earn me 3 lake plunges, but it just earned me sweat burning my eyeballs. Whole idea with this was going to be the Marble Mountain Wilderness like 12 lakes plunge or something like that. Just kind of making a game out of forcing yourself to swim in all the lakes. Finally back at the junction. That was both time and energy consuming. Sitting out here seemingly just all by myself in the middle of nowhere. It's got me thinking about, like, you know, just government activities and these budget cuts and what that could mean for the future of these trails. Some of the experiences that I've had out here have been, I would call, more of the formative experiences that I've even had, and that involves having obscure trails in the middle of nowhere that nobody walks around on. Yeah, right about now I'm feeling like I need to go cleanse myself in the waters of Cuddihy Lakes, one of my favorite places in the Marble Mountain Wilderness. It just reminds me of me and a buddy used to have this joke. It wasn't really a joke, it was just a funny thing to say. You gotta go cleanse yourself in the waters of Horse Balls Falls. I can't be only having profound, deep thoughts all day. I better get moving. Well, the whole idea of this being like a 12 lakes plunge to begin with was basically to try to get a little support for this area via more footsteps around here. And I'm finding that sharing the condition of the trails and my disappointment in how overgrown a couple of them have become in the last decade. Is hopefully that's still the same thing. We're right on the same track. I'm still just trying to get support for this region, but instead of it just being a fun splash around 3-day weekend, it's a holy shit, this place is disappearing kind of deal. When I say this place is disappearing, obviously I mean the trails. Like the wilderness is going to be just fine with or without trails, but you know, as far as places for humans to have experiences that could end up being important to their lifetime, these trails are important. Okay, last push to Cuddihy Lake. It seems like up-to-date trail information about coming out here is super important, making me realize that I should probably shout out my buddy Chris's website, Klamath Mountain Trails. I'll ask him if it's okay to put a link to it right there. Very valuable resource. It has like the most up-to-date information. A lot of it is, you know, years old, but that is the best we can do out here. So you should probably check that out if you're planning a trip. That'll give you some sort of idea of what to expect. Or reach out to me. I'm always happy to answer any questions people have. Had what was definitely my most stressful wilderness encounter at this very spot. There used to be a rock at the base of this tree. I was leaning my back against that rock after dark, eating the dinner that I had made, spicy lentil dal, when I heard a twig break. It was just right here, and I look up from over there with my headlamp, and there was a bear standing right where I'm standing now, looking at me. I immediately, I found that to be a pretty startling experience, so I set my soup down, got up and started yelling and throwing rocks and shit, and the bear bolted back into the bushes right there and stopped. And that was when I knew, oh shit, I just totally lost. This bear owns this entire space right now. That totally sucked, because before that I'd seen a bunch of bears and all of them had run from me like I was the most dangerous thing on the planet. But that thing hung out all night. It ended up, at that point I still left stuff out in camp. I left my backpack right here and my map and the shirt that I'd worn on the way in. It bit a hole in my backpack strap. It stepped on my map and tore it up, and then it took the shirt that I had worn and basically twisted it into a rope as it was, I guess, sucking the salt out of it. So I heard that going on all night. Whenever I rolled over, I was sleeping right here. Whenever I'd roll over on my sleeping pad, I would hear it, get startled by my sound, right? It made a sound that let me know it was still around. So it hung out what felt like all night, or it was at least most of the night. And in the morning, I woke up and got the fuck out of here, because I didn't like that at all. I'm gonna feel way different when I jump in that lake and lay down in the shade for a little while. So I'm gonna do that, because I need that. That was excellent. I'm now 1 for my last 5 lakes, so that was good to finally get a little W. So get used to the lonesome, but you must atone some. Don't leave me no phone numbers. That was very nice. I'm out there for a good hour and a half. Now I'm gonna head to the upper 2 lakes up that way. If you're gonna be in this area exploring some of these lakes, I'm going to echo the sentiments of guidebook writer David Green. I think his book was just called Marble Mountain Wilderness, but he suggests that you budget extra time in your trip to wander around Cuddihy Lakes basin a little bit, and I think that's a great idea. I've always done that, and there's a lot of cool stuff to poke around at around here. Well, it's kind of rad that somebody was at the uppermost lake up that way, staying at my favorite site. It's just good to see somebody else out here, so I'm gonna jump in this one real quick and then probably come back tomorrow morning and get the other one over there. Tree of the day, 2nd consecutive brewer spruce. Got up up in the middle of the night last night and saw just so many stars that I thought tonight I'm going to be getting hit in the face with those every time I open my eyes. So I got my tent set up like a little bivvy right there. And looking forward to it. I just saw an owl fly by, so that makes the few mosquitoes buzzing in my face worth it. Moved up here to the shade to just kind of hydrate, have a little breakfast, and get ready for pleasant Deadman Lake. All right, it is a hot day. Time to get out into it. Been a gradual but consistent climb back up to the hub. Almost there, and then I'll be going down Bridge Creek Trail. As has been pretty much par for the course this trip, I think this is Bridge Creek Trail. I'm gonna poke around a little and see if something more distinct pops up. Not seeing anything yet, but the trail does go down to that saddle. That's cool, there's another chute. No trail, real simple cross-country travel so far. Just gonna head to that saddle and then up to that saddle. Not gonna lie, that was hard work. Gained the ridge, and there's Deadman Lake. Absolutely gorgeous. I challenge you to come up with a worse name for a lake without using toilet humor. It's been a lot of work getting down here, but it looks worth it. I'm just gonna chill here for probably a few hours, wait for it to cool off a little until 5 o'clock or so, and then head for Meteor Lake. Well, the heat of the day is beginning to let off. It's basically peaking right now, and what I'm gonna do, got that shirt all nice and soaked, got my hat nice and soaked, filled up my water. Bummer about the water is it's by the time I get to the top of the ridge, it's gonna be like bathtub water, temperature-wise, not grossness. As I do not believe that there are skin cells, pubes, and bubble bath in that water right there. But all right, checking out from this beautiful spot. This is a well-worn pathway. There's another cairn. Wayne Moss hates it. Big fan of cairns. Right when I'm starting to wonder, I got just all these options for how to get up here. Another cairn. That's awesome. I think I see Bridge Creek Trail over there. Let's see it right cutting up. Yep, this is it. I'm seeing what's going on now. I just didn't go far enough down Haypress Trail to see the junction with Bridge Creek because I was looking at the map lines that OnX Backcountry gives you. And I also downloaded the KML files off of Klamath Mountain Trails website, and I'm finding that those are much more accurate than the OnX lines. But when you download those, beware, there are just like ancient artifact trails on there that haven't been used for decades, like Woolly Divide Trail and like the original routing of the Kelsey Trail. All right, there's the junction with Haypress Trail. Turn around and show you. Yeah, I mean, it's not much. It goes down right there. On to Meteor Lake now. One other time that I was there 2 years ago, somebody else had the main campsite taken, and for the sake of this place not being underused, I hope it's taken tonight. Here's Meteor Lake. That's probably about it, unless I see something interesting on the way back to the trailhead. I think I got like just 11-mile hike back to the car, and that's a wrap. Oh, that site looks good. I really truly wanted this to just be a highlight reel of the awesomeness out here, and it was a sufferfest, and that's that.